you know, go ahead and put your feet together.
Yeah.
You know, like feet together, you step in. And then I always like just kind of like a little step, little baby step. That might be a little wide, but a little baby step, and then a big step with the trail foot. That's a good way to get into it.
Okay.
So it's like a baby step with the front, a little bigger step with the trail.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, and then from there, now I can get a little subtle tilt to the right, turn my chest to the right.
And then I kind of should be good to go.
Yeah, handle's probably in a good spot, maybe a touch of weight into the trail foot. And now you're ready to go. It looks like you're gonna hit slightly on the way up through impact with this setup.
Hey guys, before we dive into today's video, I want to let you know we are going to be continuing our 30-day money-back guarantee at CogornoGolf.com. The response has been phenomenal. So many of you guys are taking advantage of the offer. We really want to continue helping as many of you as possible. And I know sometimes getting over the hump and signing up for something you haven't done before is a little bit risky. You might not be comfortable with it. That's why we want to provide this 30-day money-back guarantee so you can try it completely risk-free. Send your swings in. We build you a customized practice plan. I'm talking specific drills, what to focus on, how many days a week to do it, what reps to do, right? How many reps to do. Nothing cookie cutter. It's very personalized. You're going to absolutely love it. Would love to see you at CogornoGolf.com. What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the biggest mistake that we see with driver and the way to fix it. And there's really two ways we're going to fix it. Before we dive into that, standing to my left, you all know who he is. He needs no introduction. He is Mr. Travis Fulton. Travis, thanks for having us out, man.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it. So the beautiful Jacksonville Golf and Country Club here. We got a beautiful 80-degree sunny day. We're happy to be out here talking golf, talking driver. So Travis, if you don't know, has, amongst a lot of things, a very awesome Instagram account and page, and we're going to link that and all of his information down below. There's a couple awesome podcasts. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of those, but we will link that. And as I was looking through Travis's Instagram, there was a couple of different posts on there that I thought were really awesome that I wanted to make sure that we shared with the audience here.
Yeah.
And one of them, and the first one that caught my eye, was with the driver.
Yeah.
And there was like probably 2 or 3 videos you did about the driver where I'm thinking to myself like, yes. Like I'm saying these things all day, right? And so sort of to tee that up there, what would you say, Travis, with the driver is the biggest issue that we run into?
Well, I think one of them is what I call overcoming the forward ball position, right? And the ball goes forward. We all know that, right? We got to get the ball forward in the stance. But when I move it forward, what do I have to be careful with as the ball is going forward in the stance? So go ahead and take your setup there, Eric. And let's just go ahead and put it in the middle for a second. Put it right in the middle, which we don't want to do, right, with the driver. But if it's in the middle, like your chest and your shoulders, you know, you're pretty much just looking right at it. So it's pretty easy to be square here. Now, let's move it forward. And as we move it forward, now the tendency, look at here, as you try to keep yourself looking at that forward ball position, now you're facing it. Right, so you can see right here, this is kind of looking out this way. And from the target line view, the top of that left forehand gets buried. And you look out there, and of course, you're aiming left, right?
Yeah.
You're aiming left, the handle wants to get going forward a little bit. And all this is promoting steepness and swinging across your body to the left. So with that ball forward, we want to tilt back just a little bit with the spine. And then oftentimes, I'll get players to turn their chest and look a little bit more back here like this.
Okay.
And as you turn your chest and you look a little bit more back here, now all of a sudden from that target line, there's that left forearm again. And I like to see that left forearm, you know, a little piece of it from the target line view. The handle's kind of in line, maybe slightly back. And then maybe we just preset the weight a little bit on the right foot. And now we're behind it and square to the driver, just like we would be, say, with a wedge if it was in the middle of your stance.
That was so good. And that tagline of overcoming the forward ball position is like killer. And I find myself, we were talking before, Travis, I mean, I probably talk to a golfer about this 10 times a day. Yeah. This one particular piece. And I think part of the explanation that I need to do a better job with too is like the reason they're struggling with these pieces is because the ball moves forward.
I think so, yeah. I think they're trying to like look up to it, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to gravitate up to it, where when it's more in the middle, yeah, okay, it's right there, so I can kind of get myself situated better.
Perfect sense.
But getting that ball off the left heel, and really more importantly, up here in that left shoulder, yeah, we got to make sure we're disciplined, get a little tilt, we're square, which so often, Eric, they feel closed. You know, they turn, they look out there, so where do you feel like you're aiming? They're like 20 yards right. And I'm like, you're actually perfectly square now.
But relative to where they were.
Relative to where they were. So that perception, you start really narrowing the gap.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's amazing. You get them to set up like this, and then you just say, let's go. Let's just take some swings. And all of a sudden, it's like the attack angle starts to shallow out. Yeah. The path starts to move more to the right. And those two things we know for the amateur player, that's usually a good thing.
Get a lot of good for free.
Yeah.
So when we're coming in there, and I remember those were sort of the 3 keys that I left when I watched your first video. It was like, okay, so I know from here that I need some tilt, right? I love the sort of face the shirt buttons behind the ball.
Yep.
And then really big key from the down the line angle you mentioned was the lead arm above the trail arm.
Yeah.
And a lot of that coming, Travis, from my shoulders being square to slightly closed.
Yeah, a little more turn, and even like the little soft right elbow. You know, oftentimes you'll come in here and just have a player soften that. You know, sometimes we get very dominant with that right arm, very straight, and that right arm can really overtake the left. So a little soft right arm never hurt anybody. And I think from the face-on view, you know, getting the handle just in line or slightly behind. I always tell people, look, if you see a driver and you're out there and you see your buddy doing this, duck and run for cover. You know, because the ball can go anywhere when the driver is doing that. So just a little bit back here kind of goes consistent with what you're doing up there.
Got it.
And now it all matches up. And to me, when I look at you, it looks like you're going to hit it slightly on the way up now.
Yes.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember one of the times, Travis, when I was younger, I had a lesson and I had the ball forward, facing the ball, aiming left. And the guy put his club underneath my left arm but above my right and sort of like shifted my arms to the right. And I felt like, I felt like I was standing with my right arm bent underneath like this. But man, I look at it on camera, perfect.
Yeah.
And I think to your point of like, it's going to feel different if you're used to being open is a really important piece for a lot of people.
Yep.
And then using some kind of feedback to confirm that. Maybe let's hit a couple.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So if I'm starting from square, let's say I'm starting from kind of square one, right? So I'm in here, probably the first thing I want to ensure is where the ball position's at. Is that fair?
I like that. And I even like, you know, go ahead and put your feet together.
Yeah.
You know, like feet together, you step in. And then I always like just kind of like a little step, little baby step. That might be a little wide, but a little baby step, and then a big step with the trail foot. That's a good way to get into it.
Okay.
So it's like a baby step with the front, a little bigger step with the trail.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, and then from there, now I can get a little subtle tilt to the right, turn my chest to the right.
And then I kind of should be good to go.
Yeah, handle's probably in a good spot, maybe a touch of weight into the trail foot. And now you're ready to go. It looks like you're going to hit slightly on the way up through impact with this setup.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to crush this. Now, we do have an end of range there, so I'm going to go like kind of 60%.
We're going to smooth it out here. Eric's got
smooth it out.
High ball speed. That's nice.
Yeah,
and of course, a player sees that, starts straight, and draws 3 yards.
Yeah.
Sign them up.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. So I think a lot of players, Travis, that we would see with this big issue, you know, sometimes we play this YouTube title game, but I think this is legitimately the biggest issue with the driver. And I want to talk downswing piece in a second, but usually the players we'd see with the setup piece, right, they would hit too far down, swing too far left, a lot because of that setup, and usually have some kind of like low pull or slice sort of pattern.
Yeah, tack angle steep, right? And working usually across to the left. So you get those marks, those really cute marks on the top of your driver head. But a lot of hard pulls, like you mentioned, and some weak fades.
And losing distance.
So just by getting this set up more like this, you start to reverse that where now the attack angle shallows out, the path is going to be less to the left. And what I find also, and that's a nice little baby draw right there, I mean, that dog hunts anywhere.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Also what I find is people setting up like this, they tend to make a better turn too, because when they kind of get that upper body facing that forward ball position, you know, and they're aiming left, it's hard to get the lead arm working around the body from there.
You kind of more hear this action.
So it kind of gets them going more up and down with the lead arm.
See that all the time. And you're quite literally preset open. So like if I want a 90-degree shoulder turn, I'm already -10.
Yeah, it's tough.
I got to go 100 to get to 90.
It's tough.
Whereas why not, even if I'm a couple degrees close, give myself a little bit of a running head start.
Yeah, you know,
that's true.
That ball flight, pulls, high cuts, I'll come in here, I'll say, look, I'd rather have you 4, 5, 6 yards close to the right than 1 yard open to the left.
Yeah.
You know, that's how much we can take this and move it for that player. That's too much, and that's so many of them steep and across. Like, let's exaggerate. So what if you're 5 or 6 yards closed?
Yeah.
You know, because you've been 6 or 7 open, which has been bleeding into that flight. So let's go the other way, and let's not feel open at all. In fact, let's go ahead and exaggerate and feel closed perhaps for the first time.
And I'll tell you what, too, as I'm doing this here, I think a lot of players, you know, so they would get less pulls, less of the fades, probably see the ball launch higher. And you could take players with the same club head speed and make these adjustments and hit up on. I'm sure you've seen.
Absolutely.
You can make large distance gains without doing the Bryson, you know, swing stuff, which you can still do that. But even just with these setup pieces, hey, I can't swing any faster, maybe not a problem. Maybe let's do these setup pieces, hit up more, right?
I like it.
So let me go through one more time. So if I'm coming in here, and I don't normally do it that way, and I like that. I like the feet together, small step, big step. So when I'm doing that, the ball's kind of like even with my lead foot. Okay. So the feet are square, so I'm going small step, big step. I feel like I'm sort of simultaneously adding a little tilt, so my head's back a little, and my shirt buttons are slightly behind it. That's what I'm feeling. And so my trail shoulder and arm feel like a little bent and underneath my left. That's what it feels like. I'm tilted and kind of aimed a little to the right compared to normal.
I like that.
Let's go ahead and do one more with that. I got a flying mic. Let's do 60%. Yeah, and those all feel good. I'm itching to go more full speed with that next time that I...
that one kind of started up the right and was working back to the left. The other thing I like here is you're attacking it really as you come in at a 90-degree angle to the target line, right? So your body's 90 degrees to the target line, which I think helps people get more closed. So often they come in from the top side, and when they come in from the top side this way, so if you came in this way like this, and you know, I'm approaching it like this, and I aim the face, you know, if you're that player that's over here, you know, I kind of like have him come in like you are here, not this way.
Straight in.
And now as I come in straight in, I feel, okay, and then it's a little easier for me to get this way.
Love that.
Players who aim left, like we're talking about, and have a hard time overcoming that forward ball position, approach at 90 degrees. And then if you're too much the other way, which we know some are, then I would say for that player, maybe come in more from the top side like this, and then that'll help them decrease that being too closed.
And to your point too, I mean, like certainly some guys that are going to be too turned, preset too tilted, well then they just need to feel the opposites to find middle.
That's right.
They gotta find out. But most of the players, certainly we want to have the head more back. Now the last little piece that I want to touch on with this, which you had I think in a separate video, but it was the same piece, which is, you know, it does us good to get the setup correct. But ultimately what we care about then is like, you know, where are we at the bottom, right? And so you had mentioned about, you know, I would say to people like, keep your weight's got to go forward, but your head has to be more back.
Right.
You know, more right side bend, more side bend with the driver.
Yeah, we need a little side bend at impact too, right? And particularly with the driver. So, and we can certainly, you can overdo anything. Like you don't want to just get in there and be like, I'm going to go ahead and just crank on a lot of side bend. So it's like, I want a little bit at address. And then when I hit it, you know, I'm still there. Like I have some side bend there. My weight's left, I'm moving off my right heel, but I'm definitely in a little side bend to the right. And I think with that, Eric, what really tends to help people stay behind it is then a little extension in the spine through the zone. So when you give them that concept of a little side bend right and then some extension in the spine, and extension is probably I find, the hardest conversation to have with someone is that when you tell them, look, I want you to extend this way through the impact zone, they're like, wait a minute, you want me to go like this when I swing through? And it's like, that's exactly what I want you to do, and that's what you need to do because you're too much out ahead of it. Left bend and down, flex. And so many of them are trying to stay down, and they're not, you know, pushing up off the ground and using some of that extension. So a little right bend, a little spine extension through the zone with that setup, if you're a player who's too steep and left, cash.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cash. You know, I think a good marker, I love all that, man. I think and again, like in terms of number one problem, that's probably 1A, right? It's like the head being too far forward, chest down. And so when you guys are watching that from face on, you know, I always draw a line up the ball for reference. And the guys that hit the shortest and the worst, the head's at or forward of that wall the earliest. The guys that hit the best and the longest, you know, I'm not talking wildly back, but they're back behind it. And so when Travis says the extension, the side bend, you know, when I'm coming through my trail shoulder, my head feels behind that ball. My trail shoulder works under, down, and my chest is working up, right? And that motion that I'm doing allows me to continue to hit up on the ball, keep the head back.
That's right. You got to have some extension. I mean, when you watch, it's weird to say that, but that's exactly what needs to happen in order to keep that orientation through the strike. And really, that's what spine angle is, I think, is right bend and extension through the zone. That's what staying in your spine angle really is all about.
Exactly. So if I didn't have the extension piece, right, like Travis is mentioning, my head, if I stayed in forward bend, would work forward and down.
Right.
Right, so I'm keeping my distance to the ground, head working forward too much. For me to keep my head back and stay in my spine angle, like we always say, like from this side, that's where that side bend and extension piece, shoulder down, chest up on the way through. So I think one more.
Yeah, that's well said. I love that through the zone. Yeah, that's really good.
So I'm gonna do this, just let me make sure I do this one more time. So I'm going feet in, because I think a lot of people are gonna adopt this if they're not already doing it. We're going foot slight, just a little bit. So the ball's kind of like in my heel. Bigger step here. And then I'm feeling my shirt buttons to the right with a little right shoulder down. Feeling like my right arm's a little underneath my left. And then as I was swinging here, if I was adding that, is a little weight into my left foot with my head, sort of the right shoulder down, chest up, head back. That all sound good? Okay.
Yep.
So let's do the chest, shoulder, arms under. Let's do one more. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I
might need to get down. That's when you know it's feeling good, Travis, is when I did that at 50% speed and it felt like it flew like normal.
Man, you hit that
distance.
That was great. That was probably +1 or 2 on the way up, right? Just a nice little tack angle on the way up.
Yes.
Now you can add a little loft to your driver head for those that maybe were too steep and they had to take away loft. Now all of a sudden you add that loft back, launch it nice and high, minimal spin, easily 15, 20 yards. I say that to people, it's like, look, this setup adjustment, just by changing the attack angle, is +15.
Yeah.
You know, by moving those numbers, and they're like, okay, well, show me that again, you know, and like that's the value of it.
Hell yeah. And dude, could be +30. Could be +30 for people, man.
You don't need 30 though.
Trust me. I'm trying to lay up low. We're laying up.
I need 30. He's got plenty.
So Travis, that was awesome. Guys, that's the #1 issue Travis and I see all the time with the driver. So hopefully you guys implement those setup pieces, a little bit of head back. We're gonna put a card on the screen for a similar driver video like this, more on the extension, the side bend on the way through to help hit up. We're also gonna put on the logo for CogornoGolf.com. We'd love to work with you there.